Sac Town Sports. Sac Town Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Chris Verlad with your Sac Town Sports headlines. The Sacramento Kings ended their three-game road trip with a 123-117 win over the Thunder. Kings starting five all scored in double digits in De'Aaron Fox's absence, with Harrison Barnes leading everybody with 29 points. Kings will now come back home and face the Clippers on Friday night. You can listen to Friday's game right here on Sac Town Sports. De'Aaron Fox was out last night, but the team thinks he'll come back soon, possibly on Friday, according to Chris Biederman of the Sacramento Bee. On Tuesday, Fox underwent an MRI on his sore left wrist that revealed no significant damage. It is 10 o'clock, time to check out Coastside Medical Clinic, who's dedicated to providing breakthrough remedies for men. And now it's time for Chris Watkins. And we don't have any music here.
All right. Well, why not just start this thing cold then?
That should, okay.
Interesting. It's all right. It's all right. We can start like this. I got no problem with that. Welcome in to the Chris Watkins Hour, if you will. My name is Chris Watkins. That would be weird if it wasn't. You can check us out right now on the YouTubes at youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140. You can see me rocking my 49ers sweatshirt. Don't get used to it. I'm so excited. Let's start off the show with that. How exciting. Earlier today at 9 o'clock, we announced on this here radio station that we are Sacramento's new home for San Francisco 49ers football. All preseason games, all regular season games, postseason games. We also have some of the best coverage locally. Emil Fergroso is going to be joining me in our next segment. He's our San Francisco 49ers writer here at Sac Town Sports. You can check out all of his work at sacktownsports.com. Always got great stuff. Almost daily, Emil's putting out stuff. So you can definitely check him and all of his work out over at sacktownsports.com. And again, just so excited for the opportunity. And, I'm happy for Emil because now he's going to get tons of eyes on all of his stuff. So definitely be sure to check out our website for all 49ers coverage. With that out of the way, I'm a Minnesota Vikings fan, by the way. So this news is I'm excited for all 49ers fans because, you obviously are going to get great access to your team. But for me, I'll just keep on moving. Let's start off today's show talking about last night's game. Kings at OKC Part 2. It was a different game than Part 1. In Part 1, we get to see the Kings at full strength. De'Aaron Fox plays, Domantas Sabonis plays. We get everybody. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was out for that first match. But then for this second game, Shai's still out. We learn about an hour and a half before tip-off that De'Aaron Fox will not be suiting up for the game. And that the first thing I know all Kings fans immediately think when De'Aaron Fox sits out the game, well, this is a big opportunity for Davion Mitchell here. Because Davion, throughout this season, coming off the bench in a different role, being asked to do different things than he did last season, getting significantly less minutes than he's played last season, it's been a rough year for Davion. And so this is an exact opportunity. He's going to get an extended run, 30-plus minutes probably. What will he do with it? What will he do with the opportunity? Will he step up? Will we see an okay game from him, but nothing much offensively? Will he be a star defensively? And what did Davion do yesterday? And total credit to him. It was one of my favorite games I've seen him play because everything was in the flow of the offense. Everything was in the flow of the game, and yet he still managed to make an impact defensively as well. And I think you really noticed with his extended run what that does, not only for Davion, but for the team. You get that just extra time of having an awesome defender on the floor. It's great. I mean, especially for a team that has struggled a lot defensively. There were 3 or 4 plays individually that Davion made last night that got the Kings a turnover, got them a ball, got them points on the other end of the floor. He was fantastic. My favorite move wasn't even from last night. 2 nights ago, Josh Giddey's backing him down at the free throw line. And Davion, I don't think I've ever seen somebody successfully pull the chair as well as Davion did the other night against Josh Giddey. That was incredible. That was so cool. That's different level. Like you're toying with the guy at that point. Davion last night, 15 points, 4 assists, 6 of 10 shooting, which was huge. Knocked down his perimeter shots, which is massive, I'm sure, for his confidence. But on top of that, Davion gets what I wanted to call at the beginning of the season, what I thought would be titled the Davion Mitchell chain of the game. He's actually been kind of foreign to it. I think this is only his 3rd or 4th time winning the award this season. But Davion Mitchell gets the defensive player of the game chain, and he absolutely deserved it for how he stepped up without Fox playing. And you have to imagine Davion hears it, right? Like there's no way that all of this is just flying over his head and he's just playing the same way every night without, any outside noise seeping in. I'm sure he hears it, and I'm sure he felt the pressure last night. I'm sure he knows just as well as anybody that when De'Aaron doesn't play, it's all eyes are even more focused on him and how he can contribute offensively. And it's huge. If he can continue to have this kind of effort offensively, it's only going to speak well for this team. He wasn't the only one who stepped up, though. Everybody needed to step up. Every single person who stepped on the floor had to step up last night. Keegan Murray, we're going to talk more about him in a later segment, but Keegan Murray had a double-double last night. 13 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists on top of that. Kevin Huerter, who has struggled to shoot the ball. And that's Kevin's calling card, is shooting the ball. And last season, the Kings had Buddy Hield. And the problem with Buddy was if he's not hitting threes, if he's not shooting well, he's really not helping you out at all because he doesn't play defense. He's not really a ball mover. He doesn't contribute to winning really besides hitting an open shot or hitting difficult shots. And Kevin found a way to still have an impact in that game. He was 2 of 6 from 3, still hasn't found his shot. But he was 6 of 8 from inside the arc, scored 20 points, 4 rebounds. How about this? 9 assists for Kevin Huerter last night. He stepped up big. Domantas Sabonis, you knew he was going to have to be him, and he did exactly what Domantas Sabonis does. I personally would have thought that in a game without De'Aaron, it's Domas' time to get a 30-point game. No, of course. This is why Domantas Sabonis is the NBA basketball player, and I'm here talking to you on a Wednesday afternoon, or it's not even noon yet, Wednesday morning. Is because Domas knows I don't need to. Why do I need to force scoring when the attention's already now? Everybody's focused on me, and so now I can dink and dunk and look for my teammates. He still tried to get his for sure, 22 points, 8 of 10 from the field, but he didn't. No, he did not force it at all. He wasn't trying to get his. He wasn't like, okay, De'Aaron's out. Now is my time. De'Aaron's taking a little shine from Domas. In the first half of the season, I think all of us were talking about how, De'Aaron was playing great. But I thought it was pretty clear the first half of the season that Domas was the real key to what was happening offensively with the Kings in terms of getting everyone involved. And without Domas, we saw in a couple games that the team just isn't the same. They don't run the same. They don't operate the same without him. Domas didn't stress. He was like, I can do what I normally do, 23, 13, and 9. Almost got a triple-double. And you know why he didn't have to stress to score so much? Because who really stepped up last night was Harrison Barnes. A guy who I'll be the first one to admit, I have given Harrison Barnes so much flack over his time here in Sacramento for just disappearing at times. He, leading into this season, before this season, he was the 2nd or 3rd highest paid player on the team. And with that just comes a certain level of expectation that you're going to be a major consistent contributor to the team. And, Harrison has his nights, 100%. Harrison has his – me and Frankie, my Return of the Roar co-host, have a saying that when Harrison Barnes plays well, the Kings tend to play well. And last night absolutely bears that out. but Harrison stepped up when the team needed him the most. They were tied 98-98 in the fourth quarter, 7 minutes to go. And I had written down in my notes, this is usually De'Aaron Fox's time. And without De'Aaron Fox, they have to have an answer right now. They have to have somebody look around the room and say, no, it's not, let's figure out who it is. It's me. It's my time. And Harrison got that started. With 7 minutes to go, he scores 7 straight points, gets the Kings up 7. Nice little comfortable lead going into that clutch time. They don't have to trade baskets with OKC, who's a young team, getting a lot of, pretty beneficial foul whistles, I thought, last night. You didn't want to get into a situation where you're back and forth. And you know what? It wasn't just Harrison. At the end of the game. Davion Mitchell, to his credit, he sealed the game. He really hit the game-sealing shot. It was an incredible performance from just everybody, all the starters, all the way around. Incredibly impressive. They stepped up last night when, frankly, the bench really didn't do much. They contributed a little. Malik had 7. Trey Lyles also had a couple. Chimezi had a decent game. But they didn't get a huge contribution from their bench. So they needed their starters to step up last night. And individually, every single one of them did. Every single one of them contributed to that win last night. And that's exactly what you want to see with your star out. And now the Kings are in a great position. They're 4-0 after the All-Star break. 11. Ladies and gentlemen, the Sacramento Kings are 11 games above 500 right now. Never would I have guessed that this team would have been 11 games above 500 at this point. They're only a game and a half back of the Memphis Grizzlies right now. And the Grizzlies are slipping. They've been slipping. They're starting to catch their feet a little bit right now. I saw them play the Lakers last night. Jaren Jackson, oh my goodness. But the Kings are in reach of that 2 seed. It's not out of the question. And they now have a little bit of cushion from the 3 seed to the 4 seed. The Suns, the Mavericks. The Mavericks are right now in the play-in. I looked at the standings this morning. Golden State's at number 5. Okay, so they're not even that group isn't even focused on the Kings right now. The Kings have a solid 3-game lead from the 3 to the 4 seed right now. The other teams, they're not even worried. The Kings, they'll deal with them if they can get up there. They have to worry about themselves and the jostling of positions. I think the 4 through the 6 seed right now is only separated by a game and a half. It's so close in the Western Conference, and the Kings are taking care of business against teams that they need to take care of business against. And we'll see. We'll talk about the Clippers game in the last segment of today's hour, but if the Kings can take care of business against a Clippers team who will be on the second night of a back-to-back on Friday, potentially maybe Paul George or Kawhi Leonard get that game off for rest. We'll have to see, but the Kings are putting themselves in quite a good situation here down the stretch of games with 21 games to go in this season. Super excited to see how that goes. And in case you missed it this morning on the morning show earlier today, we at Sac Town Sports announced that we are the new home for the San Francisco 49ers. And with that announcement comes a whole lot of responsibility. And with that responsibility comes a whole lot of great live and local coverage. Part of that coverage will be our next guest, Emil Fergoso, who will be joining us to talk all things 49ers. We talk with him next right here on Sac Town Sports 1140.
The only place you'll find Malik Monk is Sac Town Sports.
Oh my, what an athletic move that time by Malik Monk.
Hey Sacramento, it's Malik Monk and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sac Town Sports.
Your local sports leader. Eric was way behind on his taxes.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS, almost $15,000. I tried to make payments.
The IRS wasn't satisfied with Eric's efforts, so they came after him full force.
They're coming to put a lien and a hold on all my income, my home, my car. I was just overwhelmed at what to do.
Then Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax got involved, the calls would stop, the threats would stop. It was easy like 1, 2, 3.
Optima Tax Relief is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and their team of expert tax professionals took care of Eric's problem.
I owe $15,000, and now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Take Eric's advice.
If you have a tax problem, you need to call Optima Tax now.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-364-9188. 800-364-9188. 800-364-9188.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Sac Town Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Sac Town Sports 1140. The Chris Watkins Hour leading you right into Deuce and Mo at 11 o'clock. Joining me right now, though, are San Francisco 49ers. You want to call yourself a beat writer? You have a beat writer? Yeah, you're at all the practices. Reporter. You're at the games. Why not? Yeah, everything. Reporter. Everything. If you want to check out his work, Emil Fergoso at SacTownSports.com. He's got stuff up on the website all the time. First off, congratulations to you. I mean, this is a big announcement for the station, but for you personally, like, this is going to put a whole ton of eyeballs on your work. So I'm super excited for that. Just, do you have any thoughts on the announcement, or, anything you've just seen this season?
Yeah, I'm just thrilled to be back for another season covering the Niners, covering a great historic franchise in the first year out there. My first time covering a professional football team. And I love it. Absolutely love it. Love this organization. Love covering it. And I'm just super, super excited to see our partnership with them. Right. I've known a little while about this. We had to keep it under wraps, obviously. It's been hard. It's been really, really hard. But I've just thrilled to be a part of this.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I'm super excited for you. And, again, for all the eyeballs that are going to be on your work. Again, you can check out Emil's work at SacTownSports.com. Yesterday, GM John Lynch spoke at the Combine. He said that Brock Purdy's elbow still showing some swelling. Yeah. Hoping to have surgery next week. What do you think's the timetable for when we could see Purdy possibly return to action?
Like in a game or like practice?
Just practice at this point. I mean, at this point, the surgery, you would have ideally liked to have it immediately after the game, and just with everything that's going on at this point, it's just, when will he be on the field again?
Yeah, it's really comes down to when he's going to have this surgery. Right. And that's been the biggest issue is the swelling and the inflammation in his right elbow has not gone down. It's gone down substantially. And obviously there's been some healing along with that, some natural healing, but the doctor, especially Dr. Minster out in Dallas, Texas, he does the Rangers. He wants to make sure the swelling is completely subsided, and that way he can get a clean look at his elbow to figure out what type of surgery is going to happen. Now, I know the 6-month UCL repair has been thrown around there. We don't know for sure if it's going to be that. I don't want to cause concern for Niner fans, but I just want to let you know, until they go under the knife, they will not know for sure what it looks like.
Right.
Only so much you can tell from MRI.
Right. Exactly. And you're also going to see you're going to have to see how he responds to the surgery as well. How long it takes for him to heal just heal in general and get back onto the field. Yesterday, John Lynch also said, on top of that quarterback news, that with Purdy's injury and kind of the timetable up in flux, he might have to look at the veteran quarterback market for a potential third quarterback for this team, which is nothing new.
Yeah.
Who's a potential name that you see Lynch looking around? There's a couple names out there. Wentz was dropped by his team earlier this week. Marcus Mariota was somebody dropped by his team this week. Who do you think would be a good fit?
Well, he hasn't been dropped by his team yet, but Matt Ryan.
Yes.
Matt Ryan, Indianapolis Colts. I don't know why, and I'm looking at you, Matt Ryan. Where are you still on the Indianapolis Colts? You need to get out of there and get your money and get paid. $27 million this year is what he is owed. If they cut him, it's a $9 million hit. It's $17 million off their cap for the Colts. Why would they not do this deal? They're in a new stage of them. They have a new coach, a new GM, all this stuff. Matt Ryan coming to the Niners would be a grand slam for them, just as insurance, a quality veteran quarterback they could have in there. They don't have to worry about, do we need to give him games?
Yes.
He's at a different stage of his career. He's 38 years old. He just wants to win a title.
Yes.
And who would he almost win a title with? Who was he an MVP with?
Exactly.
Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah. I think that's the key is the connection, the Shanahan connection. He's got the familiarity. And to me, you pointed out the key thing. You don't have to worry about Matt Ryan coming in and being like, I still have things that I need to prove, or I'm still trying to be a starting quarterback in this league. He's 38, 39 years old, going to be during the season. I think he's fully aware of where he's at right now as a quarterback. And it does feel like a backup or like it's kind of an emergency quarterback situation. It seems like the ideal situation in my eyes.
And if you're Matt, you come to a situation, Niners, where you don't have to really work that hard.
Right.
I'm not gonna say work that hard. You don't have to.
I
Really
know
do
what
that,
you mean, though.
You don't have to really do that much. You get to basically be a player coach in that role, along with Brian Grease, their quarterback coach, who's come back next year. Just mentor these young guys. They need a grown up in the locker room.
Yeah.
They need another grown up there. And Matt, who knows? If another quarterback gets hurt, he steps in and becomes a savior.
Right. This is the same. Yeah. Nobody thought Brock Purdy would have been in the first place, and you're completely right. Like, this is a situation where it's kind of ideal for a person in Matt Ryan's situation. So it all the dots seem to be connecting there. Do you think that there's potential for somebody off the radar that they could look at? Tom Brady obviously is somebody that has been thrown out there, but with his retirement, we'll see how that goes. Is there somebody that's not really being talked about that you're looking at? It really comes down to how they're going to fit in their cap space. They have a very limited cap space this year. They have a lot of restructuring to do with their contract, especially with Nick Bosa's extension looming next year. They have to figure out who's valuable and who's not. And it's going to be some really tough decisions this year. That's why in the quarterback market, they're very limited. They want to get the best available for the fit for them. Right. And so maybe it's going into the draft and getting another quarterback late rounds. Who knows? They can strike oil again in the Purdy experience. You never know. Yeah. I don't think they're going to go that route. They have enough young kids there. Yes. They need a veteran. Yeah. And maybe that's Mariota. Maybe that's Ryan. We don't know, but it's going to be someone on a very vet minimum deal, I would say. Yeah. All right. Well, that's enough about the quarterbacks on the roster right now. Let's talk about one that's no longer on the roster, Jimmy Garoppolo. Yeah. Where do you feel like's the right landing spot for Jimmy G? The New York Football Jets. Really? Yeah, I was like, wow. I mean, maybe a potential Daniel Jones if you don't want to pay Daniel Jones. Just picture this. Broadway Jimmy. Broadway Jimmy. The Jets have been dying since Mark Sanchez to have a quarterback of competency. It's seriously. You can argue Mark Sanchez. You can argue Vinny Testaverde. You can argue anybody, frankly. They're rolling out Zach Wilson, Mike White, the corpse of Joe Flacco last year. Tough. Jimmy Garoppolo is at least competent enough to be average. Yeah. And that's all they need is an average quarterback to get their young roster full of budding stars, Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, just a variety of people. Those are the guys. Yeah. And you kind of have a connection there as well with Robert Saleh. Yeah. I don't, obviously Robert Saleh was defense, but you still have the connection there with the 49ers as well. That'll be interesting. Do you think like maybe there's a Raider potential? I feel like when I thought about the Raiders quarterback situation post Derek Carr, it felt like Aaron Rodgers obviously is a potential candidate. It felt like Tom Brady was a potential candidate, but it also kind of, to me, I was like, I think the Raiders are in a really good situation because it almost feels like in a worst case scenario, Jimmy G could be that quarterback for them. I don't want to see Jimmy G in Las Vegas next year. I'm a full-fledged saying I grew up a diehard Raider fan. And if they sign Jimmy Garoppolo, I will be taking a couple seasons off. Okay. I would take fair. I can't. After watching what he did in the Niners, and there's no discredit to Jimmy, he's an above-average quarterback. Right. That's a very lateral move for the Raiders. I really don't see any difference from Carr to Jimmy Garoppolo. And frankly, going a step down possibly. Yeah, it's definitely. It definitely wouldn't be a bona fide step up. I think you're right. It would be at best a lateral and potentially a downgrade as well. But you never know. They have top 10 pick in the draft. Maybe it's a stopgap for a year. I don't know. You know who they should go get though? The Raiders. Yeah. Who? Anthony Richardson. They should draft Anthony Richardson. There's a lot of hype around Anthony Richardson right now. I saw that there's odds that he could potentially go number 1 in the draft. I'm a little very too bullish for me on number 1. He's still very, very raw. He probably can't start right away, but he would be the Jamarcus Russell redo. Right. He would be just redoing it and trying to make sure that doesn't happen again. I don't know if they want to hear that it's going to be Jamarcus. I get that. They don't want it to be Jamarcus Russell. It's another roll of the dice. It's another roll of the dice. And this could be the quarterback that Al Davis was trying to get all those years ago. He has every single trait of talent that you want from a quarterback. Yes. No, and I've heard that you mentioned Jamarcus Russell. Maybe a more favorable, better light is like a Cam Newton potentially, Maybe. But yeah, I've definitely heard a lot about Anthony Richardson. I think that would be a super interesting route for the Raiders to go. And I've heard people are hot and cold on Will Levis. So I don't know if that's necessarily the route to go. While we're talking combine, while we're talking prospects, is there anybody that Niners fans specifically should be looking out for? Is there a position group that maybe come combine time that Niner fans should have their eye on?
The Niners are in a really interesting spot with the draft this year. They have 10 10 picks in the draft this year.
Wow.
3 of them in the 3rd, 3 of them in the 5, and 3 of them in the 7 and 1-6.
Wow.
Very late end back end stuff. And that's kind of Niners bread and butter this year. They're able to
Where
find.
you can really roll the dice.
They found Fred Warner in the 3rd round at BYU.
Yep.
I mean, that's kind of their bread and butter. They're looking at right now, they're looking at defensive line and edge rushers. That has been one of the biggest things, and they got exposed in NFC Championship game against the Eagles. They have to get better, run stuff, and get better off the edge. Nick Bosa can only do so much.
Right.
He gets double teamed every single game, held every single game. They have to get better. They've taken a couple meetings with some guys today as well that could potentially help them down the line.
Yeah. I'm curious. We were talking about Robert Saleh a little bit ago. He got poached from the 49ers a couple years ago. The previous offseason, Mike McDaniels gets poached to Miami, and then this offseason, D'Amico Ryans goes to Houston. Is there any internal concern or fear that with just the constant turnover at coordinator that eventually, you might just not end up with the right one?
I mean, there always is. Obviously, you hate to lose coaches, and John Lynch talked about that yesterday. You hate to lose coaches. But they have this tree, this olive branch of wealth. Yeah. They just keep finding these guys. I mean, unless you have Kyle Shanahan on this team, you're not getting Steve Wilks to be a defensive coordinator this year. You're not, because there's a real group camaraderie with Kyle Shanahan and the love that everyone has for the Shanahan family and the coaching tree.
Right.
That's why you're able to get these guys and why they're able to keep restocking and retooling. I mean, even Brian Greasy this year, the quarterback coach, he got job offers to go back to the booth. He wanted to stay with the Niners because he loves the organization.
Yeah. No, it feels like they're a ready-made Super Bowl contender. And if they can just figure out the most important position in sports, it feels like, they're title bound for sure. Emil, thank you so much for joining me. You can read all of Emil's stuff again over at Sac Town Sports 1140. Great work over there. Super excited for the partnership and what that means for him. Coming up, Keegan Murray has had one of the most productive rookie seasons for a King in a very long time. What does that mean for the potential ceiling of this Sacramento Kings team? We talk more about that right here on Sac Town Sports 1140.
Sac Town Sports congratulates the G-Man Gary Gerald on 3,000 games as the voice of the Sacramento Kings.
It's just my pleasure to be able to call the action. I love the fact that I get the chance to do what I do as long as I have.
This is one of the most magical moments. How good can it get? I'm high-fiving all the fans I can grab.
Together on 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah!
G-Man. Congrats, G-Man.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Bonnie.
I'm Amber Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. It's Wednesday. It's the first day of March, and it's cold out there. Plan for a chilly morning start with temperatures feeling like they're below freezing. It's going to be blustery this afternoon with north winds, sunny skies, and temps in the 50s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
When it's cold and rainy outside, everyone knows Bonnie is leading the way home. Right now, stay warm and cozy with a $79 furnace tune-up. Plumbing, sewer, electrical, heating, and air. Schedule an appointment today at Bonnie.com.
Progressive presents Adjusting to the Suburbs.
I never thought about space in my cramped apartment, but in this house, all I see is empty space. The sofa and ottoman look like tiny islands in a sea of hardwood floors. I could get 2 ottomans in the living room, but then I'd need another sofa. I could tell people I'm into minimalism.
Anyway, when you save with Progressive by bundling your home and auto, that's the easy part of adjusting to the suburbs. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, coverage provided and serviced by affiliates and third-party insurers.
At Ashton & Price, over the last 25 years, we've won just about every injury case you can think of. Slip and fall, falling merchandise, fell through rotted decking, we won those. Dangerous stairs, falls into holes, dog bites, won them. Injured while pedestrian or on a bicycle, auto, motorcycle, big rig, company vehicle, Uber, or Lyft accident, we've won them all. And the best news is there's no fee until you win. So no matter how you got injured,
remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Hottest ticket in town. On Wednesday, March 8th, for the first time ever, AEW Dynamite and Rampage make their way to the Golden One Center in Sacramento. Don't miss the fallout from Revolution and what promises to be one of the biggest shows of the year. Don't miss MJF.
I'm a generational talent.
John Moxley.
Get in the ring with me. It's dangerous as all hell.
Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, Saraya.
I am the revolution.
Bryan Danielson, Claudio Castagnoli, Jamie Hayter, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Eddie Kingston, Orange Cassidy, The Acclaim.
Everyone loves The Acclaim!
Swerve in Our Glory, Hook, Hangman Page, Jay, FTR.
Tacos out!
Tony Storm, The Lucha Brothers, Wardlow, Darby Allin, Sting, Chris Jericho, and the Jericho Appreciation Society.
And that's entertainment.
And many more will be there live. Don't miss AEW Live at the Golden One Center. Tickets are on sale now. Go to AEWTix.com now. Cards subject to change.
Hi, guys. It's Mark with Coastside Medical Clinic. Are you struggling with ED and sick of the pills? Well, we have a major medical advancement that has helped thousands of men. Our WAVE technology is backed by 60 clinical studies, including from Cambridge University. It's been shown to increase blood flow by repairing blood vessels. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED, call us now. And not only will the assessment and blood flow ultrasound be free, but we'll also include something unique that produces powerful results. You're going to love that one, guys. Trust me. This unprecedented offer is worth $600, but it's free to those who call in the next 2 minutes. Call 916-603-2000. That's 916-603-2000. Guys, put a stop to your ED and get your life back. Call Coastside Medical Clinic now to qualify. 916-603-2000. That's 916-603-2000.
Still overpaying for a razor? In this economy? Gross. At Dollar Shave Club, you can get a top shelf shave at a regular shelf price. We've been hawking shaving products for years online, and we're excited to bring you the same great quality and low prices at a store near you. From high-quality stainless steel blades to super smooth shave creams, Dollar Shave Club's in the business of making your shave easier. Find Dollar Shave Club in the men's razor aisle. Getting your Dollar Shave Club razor wherever you want. Isn't that great?
At the end of your first year, Discover credit cards automatically double all the cash back you've earned. That's right, everything you earned doubled. All the cash back from eating at your favorite soup dumpling restaurant doubled. All the cash back from that trip where you sort of learned to snowboard also doubled. And the best part, you don't have to do anything ridiculous to get it. Nope, Discover does it automatically. Serious though. See terms, check it out for yourself at discover.com/match.
ACR Solar and Home Improvements has been so great to me and my family. Jason Ross here to encourage you to go to acrsolar.com and to see what they can do for you. Now, we are so comfortable and especially dry during this Sacramento rainy season, knowing our home is protected thanks to our brand new roof from ACR Solar. Our value of our home has increased. The home itself is looking and functioning at its best. And again, the proof is the roof. You can get the same quality experience with ACR Solar and Home Improvements. Just go to acrsolar.com now to sign up for a free estimate and see all that they have to offer. Not only to protect your home and your family during the cold and wet Sacramento weather, but also including premium made in the USA solar electric systems. ACR Solar and Home Improvements, they've been bringing us all the highest quality, value, and integrity since 1979. So go to acrsolar.com. Once again, that's acrsolar.com.
Sac Town Sports
Headlines. I'm Christopher Lott with your Sac Town Sports Headlines. Sacramento Kings ended their 3-game road trip with a 123-117 win over the Thunder. Kings starting 5 all scored in double digits last night in De'Aaron Fox's absence, with Harrison Barnes leading everybody with 29 points. Kings will now come back home and face the Clippers on Friday night. You can listen to Friday's game right here on Sac Town Sports. De'Aaron Fox was out last night, but the team thinks he'll be coming back soon, possibly on Friday. According to Chris Biederman of the Sacramento Bee, Fox underwent an MRI on Tuesday on his sore left wrist that revealed no significant damage. The Lakers are in OKC tonight without LeBron James and D'Angelo Russell, and now they will be adding Anthony Davis to that list. He is out with the right foot stress injury. Now time for the Chris Watkins Hour.
Live and local. This is Sac Town Sports.
Chris Watkins Hour, leading you all the way up till Deuce and Mo at 11 o'clock. Chris, did you just say in your update that the Lakers are not going to have pretty much their entire team today? You said AD, LeBron, who else isn't playing for them?
D'Angelo Russell.
D'Angelo Russell isn't playing for them? Goodness gracious. Sheesh, I did not hear that. Tough
But
stuff.
don't forget, they're looking forward to playing the Kings in the playoffs.
Yeah, right. They are 6 seed inbound. That is insane. that I'm so grateful. Like we really don't talk about it much. It's been talked about a little bit more recently, but the fact that we just have guys that are playing games it's been so beneficial for these guys, for this team. I think it's the main reason why they're sat where they are in the standings right now. Like I mentioned earlier, 3 games above the 4 seed right now. They're a game and a half from the 2 seed. They're comfortable because they have had De'Aaron Fox. Yesterday was only his 6th missed game this entire season. Domas, I think, has missed under 5 so far this year.
And he's got a broken thumb.
And he's got oh yeah, right. Which I just did. I completely forget that. And it's not like, oh, it's a chip or what. Like he has no ligament attaching his thumb to the other 4 fingers. Like it's just a droopy thing that has no structural support. And he's just playing through it, using his right hand like it's nothing. Incredible. Like it's absolutely incredible. And let's hope, knock on every piece of wood, that this team can stay actually healthy and not, deal with the load management. Though I will say there was potentially some load management used on De'Aaron last night. With De'Aaron not playing yesterday, that means he has a full week off, if I'm not mistaken, because the Kings' last game was the first OKC game was on Sunday, and him not playing yesterday. Kings don't play again until Friday. So that's a nice little rest for De'Aaron Fox. Got to get it where you can take it. And the fact, again, I talked about it a lot in the first segment, the fact that they can survive and have people step up. I don't know if I suspect that there'll be a couple more game load management situations, but there's at least room to consider it with how well that they played. Maybe Domas can get a couple games off for his thumb. I don't know if it'll really help, but it's nice to have the option. It is definitely nice to have the option, especially with how tough the Kings' schedule is at the very end of the season. It'd be nice if they really don't have to worry about having to contain, or having to play De'Aaron and Domas leading into those playoffs. It'd be nice if they can get a little bit of a rest heading into that. I want to talk about Keegan Murray a little bit right now and just his development throughout this season and how cool it's been to, with our own eyes, watch Keegan Murray develop on the floor. And it started in Summer League where he seemed to be, after coming out of Summer League, I was like, do we have somebody who's going to average like 17, 18 points a game straight out the bat? Because he looked incredible. He was the leading scorer for that Summer League team. Everything was running through him. He was knocking it down at crazy efficiency. And then the season started, and his first 4 or 5 games were spectacular. Came off the bench for the first 2, maybe 3 games, and then had to get put into the starting lineup because of how well he was playing. And then we saw him be a spot-up shooter in this league. We saw just from the jump, he was able to fit in perfectly, just stand where he needed to stand and hit an open jumper. And it seemed like, yeah, I could definitely, this is at least, he's a role player on this team. He can fit and not be a liability, and we know this from the jump. And that's what it seemed like for the first 10 or so games. And then it was like, all right, Keegan, like you're starting to kind of stand in one spot. People are locking in on you. You're starting to disappear. You're not having your 15, 16, 18-point games anymore. And then Mike Brown challenges him. Hey, Keegan, if someone asks me, if you're not making shots, what are you giving us? Really think about that. And Keegan did. And you could tell immediately after Mike Brown publicly called him out. Who knows when they privately had that conversation. But after Mike Brown publicly called Keegan out, and, I don't know if it's really calling him out, because I don't think he was trying to embarrass him or anything. I think he was just trying to publicly put pressure on him. After that, we saw completely like a switch had been flipped instantly. And he was rebounding. He was just active, more active defensively as well. We started to see him take charges coming off the weak side. He was not only a benefit on offense, but starting to contribute as well defensively. And that was huge. I mean, it's just what Keegan can do for this team moving forward and his development, what that could mean for this team. It could be huge. I mean, there's still 20 games left, and we still have to see with a consistent Keegan Murray. He put up 20 points the other night, had 15 the other night, but he also has some games where he finishes in single digits in scoring, and he just can't have that. And if he can become a consistent double-digit scorer, I just think that it could potentially take this team to a different level this year. This year, I think Keegan can still make this team even better than what we're seeing it right now. We'll talk a little bit more about Keegan and Kevin Huerter, and we're also going to preview the Kings-Clippers game on Friday coming up on the other side of the break. That Kings-Clippers game, it was one of the best games I think I've ever seen. High-scoring affair. Can we expect that same high-scoring game that we saw last time these two teams met up? We'll talk about that and more on the other side of the break right here on Sac Town Sports.
The only place you'll find Keegan Murray is Sac Town Sports.
Out to Keegan Murray, straight away for three, and Keegan knocks down the triple.
Hey Sacramento, it's Keegan Murray, and you're listening to the home of Sacramento Kings, Sac Town Sports.
Your local sports leader.
That. We'll get you set up for some stronger starts. You might just need a fresh charge, and we'll take care of that free of charge. But if it is time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that'll fit your needs, starting at just $79.99. You can learn more about our battery selection at AutoZone.com. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2021.
3 people you should be 100% certain about: your barber, your plumber, and your tax pro. Switch to Jackson Hewitt and you can be 100% certain about your taxes. We'll get you your maximum refund guaranteed, and we'll back your return for life. Don't be kind of certain or almost certain. Be 100% certain. Switch to Jackson Hewitt today and get 50% off tax prep. Limited time offer for new clients filing at participating locations. Max value $200. Visit jacksonhewitt.com/50 for terms.
The team at M&S Auto Group loves it when our repeat customers tell friends about their great car shopping experience with us. We appreciate that. And if you're a newcomer, welcome. M&S Auto Group has over 300 super clean cars, trucks, and SUVs, and lots of 4x4s and American muscle cars for those who work hard and play hard. El Camino, just off the Cap City Freeway. M&S Auto Group, the intelligent car buying experience. MSAutogroup.com.
Thousands of years ago, ancient civilizations used leather for water skins, armor, and sandals. Hi, this is Franklin Rosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. Today, leather is one of nature's most luxurious products. The combination of leather with beautifully designed furniture creates an end product that adds luxury and sophistication to any room. During Naturewood Home Furnishings leather sale, you'll find their considerable selection of leather is flexible, breathable, natural, and maybe most important, comfortable. Whether you're a relaxed contemporary kind of person or you're more classic leather, Naturewood Home Furnishings has color choices and styles to fit your home. In fact, I doubt any store can beat Naturewood's selection. During Naturewood's leather sale, all leather furniture is on sale for a limited time. Sit. Enjoy the comfort of leather at Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
The NBA is going OFF. Listen, I got all the facts to back it all up. 30 teams after one dream, 24 seconds to make magic with The Rock. 7-footers raining deep threes, 2 guards dunking and leaving you in shock, and first-year hoopers balling with ease. All that, all the time, all around the league. And the NBA isn't leaving anyone behind. The NBA season continues on ABC, ESPN, and TNT.
Did you know that over 90% of male enhancement pills are virtually the same thing that's repackaged, redone over and over again? Why settle for the same old product when you can get something completely different? Something that takes male enhancement into the 21st century. Something that really works. Men, you need to try Noxitril, the explosive, all-natural male enhancement formula that will unlock your performance in the bedroom to a level you could only dream of. Try to imagine Viagra on steroids. Noxitril is so powerful, that's why it took years for it to finally become available to the public without a prescription. So call now and take advantage of our special Noxitril free bottle offer today. Oh yeah, we recommend that you use the Noxitril dose as directed. Think of your partner. We certainly don't want you to overperform in the bedroom.
Call now and find out how to get a free bottle of Noxatril while supplies last. Call 800-993-2150, 800-993-2150. Free bottles for limited time. So call now, 800-993-2150, 800-993-2150.
The final 2 seconds will now tick away, and the horn sounds, and the Kings have won this ball game, 123-117. For Sacramento, it's 4 consecutive wins, and it's a sweep of the 3-game roadie. It started with a back-to-back, a win at home against the Portland Trailblazers, 133-116. Then in double overtimes, in an all-time classic, the Kings prevailed over the Clippers, 176-175, the second night of the back-to-back. Then they come to Oklahoma City. They beat the Thunder Sunday, 124-115. They do it tonight, 123-117.
That was the G-Man, Gary Gerald, Mr. 3001, soon to be Mr. 3002. We are officially in March. Holy cow. Cannot believe it. March is a great sports month. We got the NBA heating up, coming down the stretch. March Madness is right around the corner. I saw Sacramento is going to be hosting rounds 1 and 2, I think next week or in 2 weeks, March 16th. It's March 16th, I think is the date. There's just so much going on. Champions League football is happening. Champions League soccer is happening. My squad doesn't know much about that, but Christopher Laud can tell you something. Just great. It's a great, phenomenal month, and with the Kings playing as well as they are right now, it's great to not have to have my eye on March Madness and how players do in the tournament. I can just focus on the Kings. It's a weird feeling to not know at least like the top 10 prospects right now.
It's crazy because now we're saying like, oh man, there's only 22 games left.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
The last few seasons, it's
like,
like, oh man, there's 22 games left.
Yeah. Like, can we just get through it? Like, we already know what's going to happen. Can we just stack 15 L's and call it a day? Like, it's a very new situation to be in. I'm so glad that I got this opportunity to talk on the mic now and not last year, because it would have been a whole lot harder to try and fill these segments here. I probably would be talking about March Madness right now if the Kings were bad. But no, we get to talk about the Kings coming off of last time playing the Clippers, the greatest game that's ever been played in the regular season. And if that could potentially happen again, are we going to see a similar kind of performance or a similar kind of game on Friday? I'm going to go out on a limb and say no. I'm going to say that we probably won't have the third or second highest scoring NBA game of all time again. It'd be nuts if we did. But I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that's just not the case. It'll be interesting, though, to see how yesterday me and Jay Mars were on air for 4 hours, and we talked about a lot. But in that, we talked a lot just about how, the Clippers, you're probably not going to see that same effort. Like, that wasn't the Clippers' style of play. The Clippers are a much slower team. They're one of the better top 10, top 11 in opponents' points per game. So they're typically more defensive minded, definitely not into getting into shootouts and first one to 130 kind of games. Clippers are a slow, grinded out team. They have Kawhi Leonard. They have Paul George. They have people that they think if you minimize possessions, if you make every single possession matter more, their guys, their talent will overcome. And it's an interesting proposal. The Clippers are not playing well right now. They are 0-3 coming with Russell Westbrook ever since his debut. They are still searching for a win. They lost last night on TNT to the Minnesota Timberwolves. And also, they play on Thursday, the day before they play the Kings. They play the Golden State Warriors. And so that presents Ty Lue with an interesting predicament. What does he do? He's going to rest Kawhi and or Paul George in one of those games. There's no way. I have a tough time believing that they're going to play Paul George and Kawhi Leonard in a back-to-back. So which game's it going to be? Do you go, or do you want to stop the bleeding right now and play Paul George and Kawhi in that Golden State game? Golden State, no slouches. Steph Curry may still be out, but you look at the standings right now, in the Golden State Warriors, they're the 5 seed. They're the 5 seed right now. So they're playing really, they're playing well without Steph. You can't just overlook them. And the Kings, we know what the Kings are. I'm A-okay if the Clippers just want to take that one off and let the Kings, play the Clippers. We've seen what happens when the Kings play the Clippers without their main guys. That's what we got earlier in the year when the Kings absolutely blew them out. I have a tough time believing, though, that the Clippers are just going to let the Kings take that, as the Kings currently hold the tiebreaker, a 2-1 series lead. And if they win, hold the 3-1 lead, that's kind of like an extra game in the standings on the Clippers, because then they hold the tiebreaker. And so the Clippers have to then be better, have a better record than the Kings. So that's a huge game for the Clippers coming up against the Kings. Really one that they kind of need to win in Golden One Center. It's not going to be easy for the Clippers. And like Malik Monk said, we can look at the Clippers and say, look at the Clippers talent. Look how good they are. They're hungry. They're, looking for a win. But also, they got to look at us and they got to be like, look, that's a Sacramento Kings team that has not lost since the All-Star break. That's a Kings team that's offense just put up almost 130 points without De'Aaron Fox in their lineup. No slowing down without De'Aaron. They put up the same amount of points against OKC with De'Aaron as without De'Aaron. Insane. Doesn't make sense. This team is stacked. And I think the Clippers know that they definitely do not want to get into another shootout with this team. But it'll be interesting because they do get their center back, Ivica Zubac. I hope I said that right. He's got one of the toughest names in the league. He had a good return, I should say, to action. He didn't play in that first Kings game last night against Minnesota. 12 points, 9 rebounds, 2 blocks, 2 steals in 28 minutes. It's a damn good line. That's a real good line. And then you throw on top of that they have Mason Plumlee. They added Mason Plumlee, and I know Plumlee struggled a little bit for them, but that's 48 minutes or a potential 48 minutes of real center play. Like that's you're getting 48 minutes of like, okay, you're not going against a backup. You're going against really like a secondary starter. And that's tough. That's going to be tough for Domas to go against. Those are 2 big bodies. We saw him get into foul trouble last time he played the Clippers. That was without Zubac. It'll be interesting to see how Sabonis is able to fare going against both of them. Hopefully not for 2 overtimes, but still 48 minutes against those 2 big guys. It's not going to be easy. And it's not going to be easy for the Kings bench centers either, which has been a huge problem throughout this season. How will Chimezie Metu be able to fare against those 2? Will they look at Trey Lyles again as the backup center in those moments? Because then you're not so concerned about those 2 big guys plotting in the middle and mucking things up, because then you're pulling them out. So that's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for in that Clipper game. Should be interesting. And I mentioned the Kings had all their guys step up. It's good to see Kevin Huerter having good games again. He stepped up big last night. He's still trying to find his shot. I mentioned Keegan Murray, his development. How will he fare? Can he guard one of Paul George or Kawhi? That was big. De'Aaron stepped up when they played the Clippers the other night. He guarded Paul George. That's the kind of development that I want to see from Keegan. If he's able to take the pressure off of De'Aaron having to guard one of their best players, and if Keegan can step up and be a disruptor, I don't think he's ready quite yet. I mean, going against Paul George and Kawhi, those are 2 of the craftiest veterans. They know all the tricks in the book. You saw how Paul George got Domantas Sabonis fouled out in that game. That was a crafty move. I don't know if Keegan's ready for all that, but I'm excited. I'm super excited to see what's in store on Friday, because it's 2 heavyweights again going at it. And, last time, again, just absolute sparks. Will it happen again? Will lightning strike twice? Can we see another incredible game? I doubt it. And I'm okay with that because like I've mentioned a couple times, I want to see the Kings win a game 105-100 or whatever. It doesn't even have to be 105. Can it be a normal score of like 115-110 even? I just want to see what it looks like when the Kings aren't hitting their shots at all. And can they turn to their defense and win these games? Because in their defense, they've won these past 3 or 4 games completely differently. You look at the Portland game, that was, they didn't have Dame. They were down big to start, came back, handled it very comfortably. Come back, play the Clippers in the greatest game ever been played. That was incredible. That was new. 176 points. That's new. And then you play the 2 OKC games, one without Shea, both without Shea, one without De'Aaron, one with De'Aaron, one at full strength. And the one last night, was huge because, again, it was a close game. They needed somebody to step up. Harrison stepped up big. Davion stepped up big. Really, the whole team stepped up big. And that's what the Kings are going to need coming down the stretch with these 21 games is figuring out different ways to win games, especially come playoff time. You're not going to be able to do exactly what you want to do. Teams are going to try and take away your best stuff. You have to be able to show different kinds of ways to win. Boom. How about that? That is my time. Deuce and Mo are up next. Thank you all for tuning in. Again, big announcement today. We are the new home of the San Francisco 49ers. Thank you all for listening. Bye-bye.
The only place you'll find Kevin Herter is Sac Town Sports.
Herter's open, steps into 3. He's got the triple.
Hey, Sacramento,